Get Involved Referee is brought to you by Pressbox PR. Pressbox PR puts your brand on the map. From a chat over a pint to the headline of a website, Pressbox PR takes your brand and gives it the recognition that it deserves. With a proven track record with multiple clients, you'll be able to see your press go beyond the box with Pressbox PR. Check out pressboxpr.co.uk for more information.
Welcome to Get Involved Referee with your stand-in host, David McDonald. Lindsay Heron is at Ibrox tonight reporting on the game, so you do have me as your stand-in. Gentlemen, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Excellent. Listen, a very fiery encounter at Ibrox tonight, albeit there was only 3 yellows to PSV and 1 yellow to Rangers. I think the Italian referee seemed to handle the game pretty well. What's your thoughts on that, Des?
I thought he'd done very well. I think he was very consistent over the whole game. I think he had a very good manner and presence on the game. I think that was it was seen by everyone in the crowd. It was seen by everyone on television. But more importantly, it was seen by the players because he seemed to get very, very little adverse reaction to anything that that he decided, whether it was pro-Rangers or anti-Rangers. He went about his business in a very efficient manner. There's maybe a couple of talking points we can discuss, but when you're walking into a white-hot atmosphere that Ibrox is on a European night, and especially in a game that is worth so much money to both teams, they have to put in a highly experienced, highly professional and highly efficient referee. And I thought he carried out those duties to the reputable standard.
Steve, there was one major talking point of the evening, and no doubt everybody will be talking about it. It came in round about the 30-minute mark. There was a ball played in. Golston headed the ball, but it seemed to come off Jordan Tez's arm. I think the whole stadium held its breath for that split second, expecting the referee to give a penalty. And then the lifeline was potentially maybe VAR was going to look at it, but neither happened. Steve, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think just to come in from what Des was saying, I think overall that even that incident spoke. It was testament to how highly regarded the ref was by everybody involved, all the players, because there was no great dissent to it. But it was a penalty. I don't think there was any doubt whatsoever. Tezzy's arm was in a completely unnatural position. There was absolutely no reason to be jumping in that manner for a ball coming into the area. The ball came off his arm. It was unnatural. He was making himself big. What a stupid thing to do, in my opinion, for a ball coming into the area. It was a clear penalty, and there's no way around it. VAR was there, and I've got absolutely no doubt that VAR looked at it. It's incumbent on them. It's part of their duties. So presumably VAR looked at it and either agreed with them or didn't think that it was a clear and obvious error. So just let it go with the referee's call. I think he got that one wrong.
Des, you've had a look at it as well. You've also had a look at the rules. Was it a correct call by the referee and VAR, or do you agree with Steve that it was a out-and-out penalty?
Personally, I think it was an error. I think he's sold the decision. VAR has looked at it. Now, we don't know who the VAR in charge at that moment in time was, and maybe he was backing up the referee's decision, but the law does state, and I know a lot of people are saying that the law's changed, The law has changed, but there are certain elements that do not change. And what it says is, a player is considered to have made their body unnaturally bigger when the position of their hand/arm is not a consequence of or justifiable by the player's body movement for that specific situation. So when that ball's fired in, why is his arm 3 feet higher than Connor Goldson's head? Now, I know you use your arms for leverage, but to put your arm in that position, and it had to be Connor Goldson, who obviously was penalised the other week there with the penalty given against him. But when the PSV defender is taking that gamble, it just should not be there. We all know what the laws are, but the bit that it says there is considered to make their body unnaturally bigger when the position of the hand or arm is not a consequence or justifiable by the player's body movement for that specific situation. And in that specific situation, it's not justifiable. Therefore, in my opinion, it should be a penalty kick.
Also, VAR is supposed to eliminate these incidents within games. Now Rangers go into an away leg with a 2-2 draw, which from the looks of the game tonight, they could struggle over there. They really have to up their game, to potentially get that Champions League spot. That decision could potentially cost them £40 million, Steve. How tragic would that be if that was the case?
There's another decision that we'll maybe touch on after this that maybe evens things up, but we've never said that VAR is a cure-all. It's not a panacea. And the whole thing with VAR is that it's opinions going by what they've decided. Because the ref has decided it's not a penalty. VAR has clearly decided it's not a penalty. Our opinion's different, but I would be, if it came down to, even something as close as that over there, and they miss out on something minute, and it boiled down to a decision like this, of course you'd be absolutely spitting mad. We'll talk about something else that maybe evens it out for them.
Well, I wasn't even talking about this. I was just saying, what about the goalkeeper having an absolute nuke and throwing one in? So they got lucky. Rangers got lucky on that one. But I would rather games are decided by players' skill and error. That's how it should be done. It shouldn't be done because of a refereeing error. But yeah, I know what we're going to come on to.
Another incident, I think it was Kovac, where he lashed out at one of the PSV players. PSV player went down holding the back of his head. Albeit it didn't look like there was much in it, but his hands were raised. He did strike the back of his head. The referee took no action. VAR never took any action. Des, what do you think about that incident? Was he lucky to stay in the pitch?
Quite frankly, yes. He's made a striking motion. Now, we talk about, or within the laws of the game, you talk about dangerous play, endangering the safety of an opponent, but you also talk about serious foul play and violent conduct. Now, I don't know anywhere in life, if you throw your arm out and make connection with somebody in the back of the head, is that you making a play for the ball? I know the two guys, they'd been at it all night. The two players, they'd been pushing and pulling. Kolak has done tremendous in Serie A, 4 goals in his last 4 games, but he's taken a hell of a gamble if he's thrown his arm out in that play. And it doesn't matter if he strikes or attempts to strike. He's struck an opponent, and he's attempted to strike an opponent, and he has struck an opponent. So he's taken an almighty gamble, and particularly with it being a Champions League game, VAR and the amount of television coverage on it, I think he can consider himself a very lucky boy at this moment in time.
Are these things ever looked after the game, Steve? Is it something that happens in Champions League football where an incident might be looked at again, or is that the incident now forgotten about because the referee's not dealt with it and VAR's felt that there was nothing to really concern themselves about? Is that something that can be looked at in the next couple of days?
Game-wise, that's it, over and done with. The ref's seen it, VAR's looked at it, they've decided there's nothing in it. So there'll be no retrospective action taken against them, but they will review that. And Des and I know when you're in the European games, your observer will come in and you'll be looking at videos of it tonight, and they'll be looking at that over some time, depending on how many incidents. So that will individually be looked at between the ref team and the observer. And if the observer disagrees, and it doesn't matter about VAR, nowhere in the laws does it say an observer agrees with it. If the observer disagrees with the ref and disagrees with VAR, he'll let the team know. So there could still be consequences, but personal consequences for the team over things like that. But disciplinary wise, that's the incident done and dusted.
Listen, guys, thank you very much for your time this evening on Get Involved Referee. We will no doubt be back in a week's time when Rangers face PSV, and hopefully we're not talking about too many major incidents that have a detrimental outcome of the game. Guys, thanks very much.
No problem. Cheers.